So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we're going to do a yin yoga practice, and it's 30 minutes. We're going to work on Malasana as part of it, but we're really going to focus on just finding ourselves in the present moment. So, if you just would stretch out on your back, bend your knees, put your feet as wide as the mat, and knock your knees together in constructive rest. So this is just intended to keep us in a beautiful space of um, relaxation. And we're just breathing here, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. And Pema Chödrön writes that one of the important parts about aspects of stillness is recalling that notion of a kind of maternal presence. It's not to fix anything, it's simply to be present, to accompany one. So that's the feeling. You have a sense of accompanying yourself and being present. And now you can open your legs out in supine butterfly. So we just have our feet together and on the floor, and we have our legs open. So we're working with our uh, we're working with our sense of uh, stillness again. And you might want to adjust yourself. You can have your palms up, and I like to sort of press my arms into the mat, lift my shoulders up, and draw my shoulder blades down my back, and that opens my chest up a little bit more. And we're just breathing here. We can inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then let's just do a couple of figure fours. So you can draw your right foot up you can bend your knees, draw your right foot up to just outside the knee, and then draw the leg in and draw uh, you can put your hands behind your shin, your thigh, or uh, on your shin, and just draw that foot in. I like to move a little bit here, rock a little bit slightly, and I like to press my opposite elbow into my thigh, pressing out that uh, thigh and knee while I'm drawing the other one in. And we're just breathing easily here through our nose. Good. Now let's put our foot down and change our ankle on the other, just outside the other knee, and we'll draw in that leg and press the thigh out. Good. Now let's just put our legs on the floor and our feet on the floor, and windshield wipe our legs on the floor. So dropping one knee in, one knee out, and feeling that sense of release in our hips. And after you've done that a few times, you can draw your knees into your chest and just rock a little bit. Good. All right. Now we're just going to roll onto our side and press ourselves up and uh, press back into our, so I'm on tabletop here. We're going to do just a few spinal mobility movements here, just a few cat and cow. So I'm letting the front body fall towards the floor. The spine is like a butter knife, very loose here. Everything is loose. We're inhaling, and then we're exhaling out, and then inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. Good. Now let's just make our our shoulders move, our hips move. We're just massaging the joints like this. Good. All right. Now let's just turn our toes under here, and we're going to push back towards a downward dog. So pushing our belly into our thigh, and then lifting our tailbone up, straightening our legs, and then dropping our heels down. So we are in a downward dog, first downward dog this morning, and we'll just pedal our feet a bit, feeling that wonderful wonderful lengthening of the hamstring here, and let your head go. Very nice. Now let's lift the right leg up and point the toe, pressing back through our hands, and bend that knee, drop the heel to the glute, and open that thigh up. So you're doing a twist here, trying to keep your shoulders level. And now point that toe, bend the knee, draw it in towards the opposite elbow, exhaling and then inhaling up. Draw it into the center and inhale up. And exhale to the outer elbow and inhale up. Good. Now put that foot down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side, just stretching that foot up, bending the knee, dropping heel towards the glutes, and lifting the knee up. So we are in a twist here. Good. Now stretch that foot out, point the toe, draw the knee in towards the chest, opposite elbow, exhaling, drawing back in the center, exhale back, and to the same elbow, exhaling, and then coming back. Good. Put that foot down. And we're just going to, once again, stretch those arms out. Really feel the lengthening of your body here. Good. And now we're walking. We're going to bend the knees, walk our hands back towards our feet, and just dangle here for a moment, feeling a sense of blended release here. And you can, once again, you can bend one knee and then the other, if you like. And you can drop your hand on the floor underneath your head. So say you have your right hand on the floor underneath your head. You're going to bend the right knee, and you're going to lift the left arm up and straighten the left arm. Good. And then we're going to drop the other arm under and lift up. So it's the arm that is going up, that leg is straight. So here we have some very easy twists and a lovely inversion. I'm just going back and forth in my own time with my breath, inhaling up and exhaling down, and inhaling up and exhaling down, inhaling up and exhaling down. Good. And now I'm just going to come up vertebra by vertebra, up very easily here. And I'm just going to move this thing out so that you can see the top of my head. There we go. All right. So we're going to stand in Tadasana and just find our feet here. So we have our I like standing actually on the floor, not on my mat. So I'm just lifting my toes up and spreading my toes out, feeling the spark of the arches, and I'm feeling for that xiphoid process, that little bone at the base of the sternum and the pelvis. I'm trying to align them on the same plane. I tend to have a lordotic back, so I draw my pelvis forward slightly, but you might have a different kind of curvature of the spine. Um, and that gives me a sense of a posture that I can maintain or return to all day long. And here I imagine that I have a magnanimous puppeteer drawing the top of my head up to the ceiling. And I feel as though actually, it's not that my head is going, my crown chakra is moving towards the ceiling. I imagine it is on the ceiling. And I just feel that elongation, axial elongation of the spine. Good. Very nice. Now, I'm just going to move my ball here, and I'm going to just take my legs out into a wide stance and put my hands on my hip flexors and just come forward here. And I can use my hands on my thighs, on my shins, or on my ankles, depending on where you are in your practice here. So the object here is not um, to overdo anything, just to let things settle. And I'm just opening the hamstrings here again. You could, of course, use blocks here if you want to use blocks. And I'm breathing into my back body, especially, which is very open here. And now I'm using my elbows to draw myself a bit closer to my legs as I let my head go. Good. And now I'm just going to roll up, inhaling. And now I'm going to work on my Malasana, my squat. So I couldn't do squats for quite a while, so I've been really trying to work on them. They're very good for developing your thighs. They're good for lots of functional movement. And if you do like 10 of these a day, you will be, in a magical zone of wellness here. So I'm just going to, I have my feet fairly wide apart. You might have them closer together. And I'm just going to have my knees go over my toes. And I'm going to press my thumbs into my sternum. This helps me keep my chest up. Now I might have to widen there we go. There, and I'm coming up. And if you have knee issues, then listen to your knees and don't do too much. Good. But this strengthens your thighs. It's actually, if you have knee issues, it's really good to strengthen your thighs and strengthen your glutes and strengthen your calves, strengthen all the muscles around your body, your legs. Good. All right. Good. All right. Now let's come down here. Put your hands on the ground and just sway a little bit here. See how that feels in your Malasana. And we could put our hand underneath our head here and lift our other arm up and do a little bit of a twist here. Good. And let's try the other side. And then down again. Inhaling up and down. And inhaling up and down. Good. Now I'm pressing my hands into the mat and I'm just pressing up. And now I'm going to wiggle my feet together and dangle here. So I have my legs straight. You could bend your knees, of course. And I'm just going to hook my hands in my elbows and just hang suspended here. Good. All right, now let's roll up and come up. All right. So let's come forward and onto our mat, and we will just work on a few standing poses because we can. So I've just got a wide stance here, and I'm going to turn the front foot out, press the knee out, and there we go into a very quite a nice warrior two. But of course I'm going to face the long end of my mat and lift my arms up, and then I am stretching forward, putting my hands either here, or you could have a block on the inside of your feet, of your front foot. You could put your hand on the block on this way or on the floor. And really stretch from the tip tops of your fingers to the outside of your foot, your back foot. And now I'm going to come up and press up that front leg and come over. Good. And then exhale down. Inhale, extend an arm up and over. And perhaps you're going down to the ground or to a block, or you might just have your forearm on your thigh. Press up again, exhaling, lift up and over. And then down, out, and over. Good. Pressing down, up, and over. And this time we're going to come once again with our wide legs. And we're going to you could have two blocks here if you like. We're going to put our hands on our hip flexors and tilt over. And now this time we're going to walk our hands either with our blocks or on the floor. And we're going to hold on to either our shins or our ankles and draw our elbows out. Good. And then we're going to come back and go the other way, holding on to our ankles or our shins, bending our elbows and drawing ourselves close here. Good. Now let's once again do that twist. We'll put our hand underneath our head and lift our arm up, looking at the ceiling. And really press your hand into the ground so you're really twisting your torso. Good. And then we'll come down, exhaling up and down. And we'll do it once more on each side. So lifting that arm up, twisting, and then exhaling down and lifting up and exhaling down. Good. So let's just dangle here for a moment, hang here, suspended. You can walk your hands back towards the back of the room and keep the back of your palms planted on the ground, and see if you can just let gravity help you descend a bit potentially. And I'm really pressing into the outside edge of my feet. Good. All right, now let's extend our arms out. You can either have your hands on your hips or you can rotate up. Inhaling here and opening out. Very nice. Okay, so let's just come to the front of our mat. Open our arms out, inhaling and exhaling forward. Good. Bring our right leg back and our left leg. We're in a plank now. We're going to hold it here. And if you feel like it, you could do a few push-ups or push-up-like things. I just bend my elbows and then I come up, and I don't even go down very far, but it's good for my arms. Good. All right, good. And now I'm going to come down in chaturanga and come up into my cobra or my upward dog. So you do you. Good. Now let's turn our toes under and press back into our downward dog. And I'm going to do some toe flexes here because I have crampy toes. So I'm just standing on my tiptoe and bending my knees and feeling my toes really stretching out here. Good. All right. And now you can lower your heels towards the ground. They don't have to touch, of course. Lift the right leg up, point the toe, bring the knee into the chest, draw your foot forward. And now we're just going to go into a quick twist here. So press your hand on the inside of the front foot. You can leave the back knee down and lift your arm up, or you can lift that back leg, knee up and twist, pressing the thigh up. Good. And coming down, my both hands are on the inside. I'm going to come down to my elbows here in a lizard, but you might want to put your knee down and just stay up with your arms extended. All right. Now let's just put that knee down, come back, and lift that foot up in a hamstring stretch. And I'm drawing myself towards my thigh here. And then I'm going to come up and lift my arms up and down. Good. Now I'm going to bring that knee back, and I'm going to go lift the other knee forward, and we're just going to once again go in a twist in the opposite way, putting your hand on the inside of the front foot and rotating. And you can, of course, lift the back knee up and twist. And holding here. You can, if you like, you could move your arm around in a circle, rotating your shoulder. Good. And I'm putting my hand on the inside of the front foot again, both of the hands, and I have my knee down potentially, or I have my knee up and I'm coming down to my elbows perhaps. And I can go onto the outside edge of the bent knee and drop that knee towards the outside, increasing the stretch there. Good. Very nice. Now let's just come up and we're going to put the back knee down. Draw your toe forward as you straighten that front knee. And then I'm going to come forward and bring the back leg forward into a dangle. Exhaling here. And coming up and opening out. Open your arms out. Exhaling down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down. Left leg back. Right leg back into a plank. Breathing here, holding. And then you can come down, knees, chest, chin, or in a chaturanga. Coming down and then lifting up into a low cobra or upward dog. Holding here, breathing. Then turning your toes under and stretching back and up. Very good. Lifting the other So do your left leg up, bending the knee, bringing it forward, and then bringing the back leg forward and forward fold. Halfway lift. Exhale down. And the arms wide, inhaling all the way up. Good. All right, so now we're going to go back onto the floor and onto our back here. I have a block nearby. First of all, I'm going to do a spinal twist. I'm putting my feet on the ground near my hips with bent knees, opening my arms out, and I'm just going to lift my hips up, shift them to the right, drop my knees to the left, and look at the right hand. And I'm holding on to I'm just putting my hand lightly on my thigh to give myself a little added twist here. This is optional. And I'm breathing in the stillness of this moment, finding myself in the here and now. Accompanying myself. All right, let's roll onto your back, pressing your feet into the ground, lifting your hips up and shifting in the opposite direction and dropping your knees. Good. Opening that arm out and looking at the hand. Opening your arms out again, lifting your hips up, finding that center, and finding your block, putting your block, lifting your hips up, putting the block underneath your sacrum. It's in a very good place here. And then bending one knee and lifting it up, bending the knee and putting the foot down, bending the knee and lifting up, bending the knee, putting the foot down. And you can continue doing one leg at a time, or you could bend both knees and lift them up, pressing into the ceiling here. And I tend to draw my legs towards my head. So I always have to remind myself to draw my legs a little bit back so that the legs are over top of the hips here. And I'm just going to allow myself to find stillness in this place. Now I'm just going to open my legs wide, pressing my heels out. And then closing them down, bending my knees, putting my feet on the floor, stretching one foot out. And here you could just draw it back in towards your hips if that feels all you need, or you could stretch the other foot out into now here you have to have a pelvic tilt. You might want to readjust your block and this is a lovely, very small back bend, but very nice one. And I'm pressing out through my heels here. And I am doing a pelvic tilt, so I have no pressure or strain on my lower back. And I'm just taking a few breaths here in this very focused back bend. Good. Now I'm going to draw my feet in here, press my feet into the ground, lift my pelvis up, draw the block away, and then really extend my tailbone down as I lower one vertebrae after another, elongating my back here. And now I can just stretch one leg out and then the other and open my palms to the ceiling. I'm just shimmying a little back and forth, just finding a good space on the mat for my body. And I'm letting go like a leaf, no effort here at all. And I'm feeling the genuine breath, the inhalation through my nose, the exhalation. I'm feeling everything letting go, my fingertips, my toes and feet, hands and arms, ankles, knees, calves, thighs, my hips, my pelvis, my belly, waist, ribs, my chest, shoulders, arms, and the skin on my forehead is letting go. I feel my eyes sink. I feel the skin on my scalp letting go, on my cheekbones. And I'm just as still as a leaf. Usually we regard loneliness as an enemy. Heartache is not something we choose to invite in. It's restless, pregnant, and hot with the desire to escape and find something or someone to keep it company. When we can rest in the middle, we begin to have a non-threatening relationship with loneliness, a relaxing and cooling loneliness that completely turns our usual fearful patterns upside down. There are different ways of describing this kind of cool loneliness. They are less desire, contentment, avoiding unnecessary activity, complete discipline, not wandering in the world of desire, and not seeking security from one's discursive thoughts. Cool loneliness allows us to look honestly and without aggression at our own minds. We can gradually drop our ideals of who we think we ought to be, or who we think we want to be, or who we think other people think we want to be or ought to be. We give it up and just look directly with compassion and humor at who we are. Then loneliness is no threat and heartache no punishment. When you wake up in the morning and out of nowhere comes the heartache of alienation and loneliness, could you use that as a golden opportunity rather than persecuting yourself or feeling that something terribly wrong is happening right there in the moment of sadness and longing? Could you relax and touch the limitless space of the human heart? The next time you get a chance, experiment with this. Touch the limitless space of the human heart. And that's Pema Chödrön from her book, When Things Fall Apart. So I'll invite you to wake up, to feel that tingling in your feet and hands. Feel your breath animating your torso and your limbs. You might want to stretch. You might want to wiggle a bit. And in your own time, you might draw your knees towards your chest and roll onto your side. Alternatively, you can just stay in your Shavasana or return to it now and stay there for a while. Good. So just take a few breaths as you roll onto your side and come up into a seated position. And I'll invite you to put one hand on your heart, one hand on your below your belly. And I am meditating for a moment on that notion of cool loneliness, exploring the expansive richness of the human heart. And the benefits of stillness and breath. And we can put our hands together in prayer. And I want to salute and honor each and every one of you, the teacher, the student, the light in all of you. Deep bows. And I'll dedicate the merit of this practice to all those suffering here and abroad. Thank you, thank you. I'll turn the recording off and see you the next time.